Officials of the village of Port Jefferson are working to make improvements around the town, and to make sure they get it right, they are tapping into the minds at Stony Brook University and NYIT. Stony Brook professor Lee Koppelman worked with Robert Moses in designing much of Long Island, and in 1964 laid out Port Jefferson's first comprehensive plan. Now the village has turned to him once again.
So they'll fully open up the waterfront. And I think that'll be at least an aesthetic and a recreational improvement. That should be a major segment of the work.
The committee working on the new plan developed a survey asking residents for their input. Sinan Sinar is a graduate of Stony Brook School of Business. He analyzed the survey as part of an internship with the village.
We created a database with access just for this project, and we started to enter the data.
Sustainability is also being considered in the new plan. Stony Brook professor John Lutterby is the Associate Director of the Humanities Institute at Stony Brook and is working with a village committee to help Port Jefferson go green.
We do small events, which are what we're now calling community workshops, and then we do a larger event, which is an information fair.
Professor Lutterby says the committee is working on several projects to improve the town's eco-friendliness. The smaller projects include an effort to place recycling bins next to trash bins on the village streets, but there are much larger projects in the works as well.
One of the things that we're starting to talk about is to open a biofuel refinery, if you will, station, so that the businesses in Port Jefferson can take their grease down to this place, and they can create biofuels for the ships that are in the harbor.
If the refinery is built, it would be just one of the few changes the harborfront could see. In 2002, NYIT professor of architecture Michael Schwarting had some of his graduate students design ways to improve the village waterfront. Now the town is looking to actually implement some of those plans.
The student designs were fairly radical, as is typical, and they asked me if we could turn all of this into a more practical design. So we started here in the office to work on the project at that point.
The student designs featured some major changes like setting up a circular dock and building a new park on the harbor front. Professor Schwarting has adopted the idea for the new park, but has shied away from incredibly radical ideas, at least for the most part.
As you drive like you're going into your own garage. You drive in, you put your credit card in the thing, and you're finished.
Port Jefferson may be replacing its municipal parking lots with garages that park your car for you. Drivers would pull their car onto a pallet, answer a few questions, and walk away. The car would then be lifted into the garage automatically. Schwarting expects the structures to double the off-street parking in Port Jeff, but some people say they would only be deterred by the garage.
To take my car away, I'd rather say, well, I want to park there, or I want to park there, and maybe move it in a half hour or something, you know. Okay. Because Port Jefferson's a big place.
Well, it sounds like a good idea. Just drop your car off, let the computer take control. The only thing I would be worried about is paying more for it.
The state of New York seems to think Professor Schwarting has a good idea. It put up a $90,000 grant to study his ideas and see if they're doable. Now, the comprehensive plan and the urban redesign are both still very much in the planning phases, so don't expect to see any immediate changes around Port Jefferson. But in terms of the $90,000 study Professor Schwarting was just awarded, well, that's one small step for this plan, one giant leap for Port Jefferson. Reporting for Stony Brook University, I'm T.C. McCarthy.